It's chemistry model paper. It's paper number 2 here, and we are solving short question answers. So the first question here is calculate the number of hydrogen atoms in 20 gram of glucose. So the mass is given, and we have to calculate the number of atoms. So we must know what are the number of molecules here present. So here we go. The given data is mass of glucose, and what other thing which you can determine is the molecular mass. So it's a simple thing, just carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. According to their number of atoms, you just multiply it with their atomic mass and you can get the answer. It is 180 gram per mole. What you need to calculate is number of hydrogen atoms. So you just need to put the formula. Its number of molecules is equal to mass divided by molar mass into Avogadro's number. Put the values, cancel out all the stuff which can be, and then you get the result, which is 0.668 into 10 to the 23 by the multiplication. Now you have to check the ratio. One molecule of glucose means 12 hydrogen atoms, and if you have 0.668 into 10 to the 23 molecules of glucose are there, then just you need to multiply it with 12. You may get your answer. Next question, describe relative atomic mass. Give an example. Look, whenever you are using the term relative atomic mass or something like that, that means you have to take the mass of one atom with relative to some other atom. So that means कि आपका reference कोई और है. So carbon 12 is the reference because that is the most abundant element present on earth. So that is the reference. So इसको आप define करेंगे कि आपको जो average mass है किसी भी atom का, उसे हम compare करते हैं with the mass of carbon, 1/12 of the carbon. So that is your relative atomic mass. If you can quote the examples, you can quote any of the examples. You can take nitrogen, you can take oxygen, you can take sodium, potassium, whatever element you can put here as an example. Then we have the next question. Rutherford's atomic model theory explains the atomic structure. What are the limitations of Rutherford's atomic theory? So in this question, you are not supposed to explain the Rutherford theory or whatever their points are. You just need to tell them that what are the limitations. You may tell the limitations in bullets. For example, the very major failure of that model is that was stability atom की define नहीं कर पाया था. How atom is stable, atom is a stable species, but Rutherford से हम ये define नहीं कर पाए थे. Then there are whatever he based that on the planetary model, or obviously that doesn't fulfill today's requirement. जो अब modern theories हैं वो इसको favor नहीं करती. Then we have the spectrum. स्पेशली जो रदरफोर्ड की थ्योरी है वो कंटिन्यूस स्पेक्ट्रम ज़रूर जनरेट करवा सकती है, बट इफ़ एज फार एज डिसकंटिन्यूस और लाइन स्पेक्ट्रम इज़ कंसर्न्ड ऑफ हाइड्रोजन, सो इसकी कोई एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं है कि वो कैसे जनरेट होता है. एंड देन जो अरेंजमेंट है इलेक्ट्रॉन्स की एटम के अंदर, दैट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, एंड दैट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग विच पार्टिसिपेट इन द स्टेबिलिटी एंड रिएक्टिविटी, बट वो भी एक्सप्लेन नहीं हो रही. सो दीज आर द लिमिटेशंस. Then the next question is, an element has atomic number 17. Predict the position of its that particular element in the periodic table. This is one of the question which is also in its model paper 1. So you can identify कि यार ये बहुत एक conceptual चीज़ है. And you must know that how you do. So 17. That means 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and the remaining electrons are just 5 electrons बच गए हैं, so they are in 3p5. Now 3, that is the quantum number, that is the principal quantum number. So that means that is also show number of shell and period be mentioned karta hai. So the third period is there, and we have 5, 6 and 7. 7a group se hi aapka element belong karta hai. Next, define shielding effect and among lithium, sodium and nitrogen phosphorus pair. You have to mention which one has higher shielding effect. Shielding effect itself kya hai? The shield or between the outer electrons and the nucleus. So this is the shielding effect. आप different terms use होती हैं. electron shielding की term भी use हो रही है, atomic shielding भी एक term है जो हम alternatively यहाँ use करते हैं. So you have to be careful whenever you are using this term. That means the electrons which are present between the outer shell and the nucleus, they are playing their role. They are cutting down the attractive force that, or the pull of the nucleus towards the outer electron. So that is the shielding effect. Lithium or sodium, you just assume that how many number of shells are there. Lithium is smaller than sodium, so sodium has more shielding effect. Sodium में number of electrons ज़्यादा हैं, ज़्यादा shells involved हैं. So here we have the medium section shells which play their shielding effect. Then nitrogen, phosphorus, if you compare it, phosphorus have more number of electrons than nitrogen and have extra shells, so they have more shielding effect as compared to nitrogen. Next, noble metals show very low reactivity unless their properties of their inertness. उसने ये नहीं पूछा that they are reactive, low reactivity. Why? उसने कहा है that they have the low reactivity. You just need to tell कि उसकी वजह से उसकी properties कैसी हो जाती हैं. Obviously, if you are saying that the material is not that much reactive, it means that it's a stable one. That means कि आप उसकी electron gain और lose करने की tendency जो है, that is very low, or just you can say very least tendency. And obviously they doesn't react much, or agar if you want to react any of this thing, you have to make a strong solution, you have to make aqua regia if you want to make them react. Otherwise in the normal situations they doesn't. And they're very resistive, they doesn't go the processes of corrosion or oxidation. So these are the characteristics of their stability. Next question is, atoms are joined together by ionic or covalent bonds. You have to differentiate the ionic and covalent bond. So the very major difference is ionic bond is the bond which is generated by the electrostatic force of friction when the opposite ions are come closer together, and they are made between non-metal and metal when there is a huge difference, electronegativity difference between the materials which are joining or the atoms which are joining. Covalent bond, when the electronegative difference is very less and the atoms are sharing their electrons, then that is a covalent bond. And ionic bonds are more stronger as compared to covalent bond. The boiling point of ionic bond, melting and boiling point of ionic bonds or ionic compounds are much more as compared to the energy we require to break the covalent bonds. So that's why they are considered more stronger. And if you consider the reactivity, so ionic bonds are undergo fast reaction, and as far as covalent bonds are concerned, they are reactive. It doesn't like that they don't react, but very slow, right? So this is the major difference. Sodium chloride, magnesium sulfate, any sort of chemical, that all are ionic bond. And here we have water, ammonia, carbon dioxide, these all have their covalent natures. The next one is differentiate between shell and subshell with an example. So what are the shells? For just for a layman understanding, I already quoted that example कि आप बिल्कुल ये assume करें आपकी एक main road है, that is your shell, और उसी एरिया में अगर आप उसको कैटेगराइज करें तो आपकी एक लेन जो है वो लेफ्ट है और एक राइट साइड है, एंड देन देयर आर मल्टीपल 3 to 4 lanes on your trunk road or your main road. So this is how you can understand it. And shell is a particular pathway on which the electrons revolve. This is how you define it. They always have their fixed energy, they always have the whole number values, and that is based on the principal quantum number, and they all have fixed quantum number like 1 2 3 4 5. It couldn't be like 1.2 or 1.3 or somehow like not any of the decimal values here. Then because here he asked for the example. So principal quantum number जो कि आपके number of shell को show करते हैं, you can write the principal quantum number, then 1 2 3 and 4, और हर shell के साथ आप mention करते हैं that this is first shell, K name, L, M, N, and you place the number of electrons. That is the 2n square formula we use here to put the electrons. Moving on to define the subshell. Subshell is in a particular area that where the electron moves within a shell, like a sub road on a main road, and they are named according to their angular momentum. So angular momentum के accordingly जब हम इसे name करते हैं, we have S, P, D and F, and आप इसकी energy बता सकते हैं that S is of lower energy, then P, then D, and then F. The capacity of electrons: S contain 2 electrons, P contains 6 electrons, D contain 10 electrons, F contain 14 electrons. Now To be very honestly, if you are not good in writing the complete statements or complete sentences, you can write it in bullets. You just need to present the exact answer they demanded. That is the key of success. Don't waste your time on especially in 3 marks question on writing the multiple sentences and blah blah blah. That is not really required here, so just take care of this thing. And the next question here is, the forces that bind the atoms together in a molecule are called chemical bonds. Show covalent bonding with the help of dot and cross structure of HCN and carbon dioxide. So hydrogen cyanide. So carbon has 3 bonds with nitrogen and 1 bond with hydrogen. How do you know? If you even don't know, तो थोड़ा ट्रिक आप चला सकते हैं. कार्बन के याद रखें, कार्बन always form 4 bonds. So and hydrogen form 1 bond. So there is 1 bond between carbon and hydrogen, and the remaining 3 with nitrogen. And the other one is carbon dioxide. So obviously carbon make 2 bonds and 2 oxygens are there, so 2 bonds with each oxygen. So you arrange your shell like this, like in the diagram. Here we are showing it, that carbon is attached with 1 hydrogen and on the other hand nitrogen, and the overlapped area where the circles are overlapped, you can clearly see that we are mentioning the 1 pair of electrons in hydrogen carbon overlapped circle. One is cross, the other one is dot. Cross is from of for hydrogen electron, and carbon's electron is showing in dot. And same on the other way, nitrogen electrons with cross and the other one is with dot. And you all know कि nitrogen के ऊपर एक lone pair होता है, so that will be placed. And same in the case with oxygen and carbon, oxygen के 2 lone pair होते हैं, so we will place that as well. And carbon जो है वो क्रॉस के साथ हमने शो किया. अच्छा, अब आप कार्बन के डॉट के साथ और दोनों ऑक्सीजन के क्रॉस के साथ भी शो कर सकते हैं. इट्स रियली अप टू यू, वॉट एवर यू फील कन्वीनियंट, आप उस तरह से इसको यूज़ कर लें. सेंट्रल, इफ़ देयर आर मोर देन 2 एटम्स, 3-4 एटम्स हैं, तो आप जो सेंट्रल एटम यूज़ करें, एक का अगर आप क्रॉस करें, नेक्स्ट का डॉट करें, उससे नेक्स्ट का क्रॉस करें. सो दिस इज अल्टरनेटिवली आप यूज़ करें. सो इट इज़ ईजी टू प्रेजेंट द structure. The next question is, differentiate between amorphous and crystalline solid. Just to being for the memorization, crystalline, non-crystalline. Crystalline means very well arranged, 3-dimensional arrangement, and non-crystalline means they are not properly arranged. They have very random arrangement. They are just haphazard arrangements. So those are amorphous solids. So this is how you can define it, or you easily memorize it. Examples for amorphous: plastic, glass, rubber, polymer, that gel type of materials. Crystalline solids, you have calcite, you have sugars, you have diamonds, you have quartz. So these type of things. Now again, one of the terms here, define allotropy and give 2 examples. Allotropy means same element लेकिन वो different forms में exist करे. जैसे आपने देखा होगा, there are few of the if you ever go to circus, there are certain type of peoples are there, or even you are doing any sort of drama, तो एक ही बंदा different role play कर रहा होता है. It's more like that. एक ही element है but अपनी physical जो arrangement है उसकी change होने से different appearances में मौजूद है. So that is your allotropy. So more than one different physical forms. And allotropy जो है they exhibit एलिमेंट्स की पर्टिकुलर प्रॉपर्टी है. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप 2 क्रिस्टाइन एलोट्रोपिक फॉर्म्स की बात करें, कार्बन इज़ वेरी मच नोन फॉर इट, डायमंड है, ग्रेफाइट है. डायमंड इज़ एन इंसुलेटर, ग्रेफाइट इज़ अ कंडक्टर, and diamond is a very very hard material and graphite it's not. So उसकी जो physical properties हैं वो भी change होती हैं. And but एलोट्रॉप्स में एक चीज़ जो ध्यान में रखने की बात है, दैट इज़ इनकी केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज चेंज नहीं हो सकती. बट ऑब्वियसली उसकी रीज़न क्या है, that their carbon, if they are arranging like upside down or downside up, they are still carbon, so chemical properties change नहीं होती. And then for phosphorus के allotropes हैं, you can quote the examples white and red phosphorus. So we, as well as we have sulfur, so you can quote according to. Next, electroplating is the process in which one metal is coated on another by an electrolytic process. Briefly explain electroplating of chromium with reactions. Now, chromium अगर आप यूज़ करना चाह रहे हैं किसी भी चीज़ को कोट करने के लिए, स्टील को या किसी भी दूसरी चीज़ को कोट करने के लिए, सो क्रोमियम डायरेक्टली उसकी एडहेरेंस पावर इतनी नहीं होती. सो अगर हमें इसे प्लेट करना है, सो वी हैव टू यूज़ कॉपर और निकल, सो उसे हमें यूज़ करना पड़ता है. अब बेसिकली होगा क्या, दैट इज़ अ रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन. वी नो कि प्लेटिंग के अंदर जो रिएक्शन यूज़ हो रहा होता है वो रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन है. एंड हाइड्रोलिसिस को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए हम हमेशा डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड यहाँ पर ऐड करते हैं. नाउ योर एनोड इज योर क्रोमियम. सो क्रोमियम वहाँ से डिजॉल्व होगा. इट एंटर्ड इनटू द सॉल्यूशन, release 3 electrons, and that 3 electrons move towards the cathode, and at cathode it absorbed by the chromium plus 3 ion and it converted into chromium, neutralized, and it get deposited at the cathode. और cathode के ऊपर जैसे ही वो लेगा, it absorb that electron, neutralize होगा, and it deposit it on cathode. So this is how it was. 3 marks question. So just a simple reaction and थोड़ी सी उसकी अपनी explanation देनी है. Next is define sublimation. Briefly explain with the help of example. We are really familiar with the term condensation, boiling, freezing, all that stuff. So sublimation is when you directly convert your solid into gaseous phase. So that is your sublimation. But sublimation doesn't happen for all the things. First, it is an endothermic reaction and it exhibits in only particular conditions. There we have ammonium chloride, we have iodine, which sublimes. Not every compound sublimes. Then differentiate between electron affinity and electron negativity. Electron negativity is the power of a nucleus to attract a shared pair of electron, right? Like आपके और आपके फ्रेंड के दरमियान एक चीज़ है, बट वन ऑफ द पर्सन इज़ मोर इन्फ्लुएंशियल, और वो उस चीज़ को बावजूद वो आप दोनों की है, आप दोनों ने शेयर की है, लेकिन वो उसको ज़्यादा प्रेजेंट कर रही है. जैसे आपने देखा होगा group task mean there most of the times one of the person is presenting all of the work and the remaining persons are not get that much opportunity or that much confident. So in the same way, one nucleus which is more confident, which is more strong, वो shared pair को भी अपनी तरफ खींच लेता है. That is your electronegativity. And electron affinity means the energy released when you put the electron into the system. Means जब आपका atom anion form करता है, तो जो energy changes आते हैं, that is electron affinity when your system is in gaseous state, when your atom is in gaseous state. And that we use kilojoule per mole. Then we have again the question which is in the first set as well. Identify oxidizing and reducing agents from the following equations. The equations are given to you, and we are very clear about that. The very first one is we have ammonia and we have copper oxide, and copper oxide is releasing the oxygen, so that means oxygen lose कर रहा है. So उसकी अपनी क्या हो रही है? If loss of oxygen is reduction, so as अगर इसकी अपनी reduction हो रही है, it acts as an oxidizing agent. So copper oxide is an oxidizing agent. And ammonia hydrogen release कर रहा है and it converted into nitrogen. So hydrogen loss means oxidation. So ammonia act कर रहा है as a reducing agent. Then we have WO3 and oxide. So we have it's losing its oxygen, so it's reduction happened of that compound, and that act as an oxidizing agent. And hydrogen, it is absorbing oxygen and converting into water. So its oxidation happened to the hydrogen, and it act जो कुछ अपना हो रहा है उससे उल्टा हम बताएंगे. So act as an reducing agent. So it's all for the second model paper, SLO based chemistry 9th grade. Thank you.